Now we're joined by Dr. Yonatan Freeman, international relations expert at Hebrew University in Jerusalem. Good to have you on the show. First of all,
hi, thanks for having me.
$6 billion for these 5 Americans, dual citizens who have Iranian citizenship, who traveled to Iran by all accounts voluntarily. It's a huge price tag per head. What actually happened here? Are we witnessing just the leverage of Iran on display over the U.S., or is there more behind the scenes likely?
Well, I think we have to really focus on first that it's a good thing for any country to really release their citizens. This isn't the first time that the United States did it. We also saw in the past European countries, Israel has done it, and they weren't really prisoners, they were hostages. There was no due process there. And I think that, for one, it's a good thing, and it could really help Biden and the United States administration in striking a deal with Iran. But on the other thing that could happen is it could really spur more of these events in the future and really cause a backtrack to what really the United States wants to do, and that is to show strength.
Yeah, I'm not sure this projects strength. I mean, you mentioned Israel as an example. I think in those cases talking about soldiers captured on the front lines. These guys also again were Iranian citizen businessmen traveling into Iran. It's this price tag seems like an open invitation, right? To hey, we should be gathering up as many of these people as we can and keeping them in Evin prison. Do we know anything about how hard it was for the U.S. and Iran to reach this deal? I mean, how much was publicized?
Well, I think it's obvious, and we saw in the report before I came on here that there was a lot of media attention as to who these individuals were. The fact that their families interviewed a lot on TV were trying to get the U.S. to strike a deal. But I think we also have to realize that the fact that this deal came now could also tell us that maybe the United States is feeling that soon no deal could be really reached. We're hearing reports on for different military assets being brought to the area, things that are going on in terms of the nuclear deal that might not happen. So I think that the United States might be feeling that if it waits too long, there might be a deterioration in the relations between Iran where no deal will be possible at all.
Look at the minute we have left here. Prime Minister Netanyahu is definitely going to be talking a lot about Iranian threats while he's in New York this week. How do you expect him to be received by the U.S. in particular here? Do they want to be hearing his hawkish message anymore, or does this deal indicate they don't want that right now?
I think they do, and I think if we see the way the United States is also describing what's going on in the Ukraine right now, in terms of the intervention by Iran, the fact that Iran is helping Moscow in its military goals, I think that it's in the interest of the United States to frame the war in the Ukraine as also as a war against Iran. And I think that's one measure which they're trying to use as well to try to sway Israeli policy vis-a-vis Ukraine, to try to get us to support Ukraine more. Interesting enough, Zelensky is also going to be in the area, and I won't even rule out maybe even a meeting, maybe not even publicized, between the Israeli government and Zelensky. Maybe even Netanyahu and Zelensky has been even invited to the Ukraine in the past. So I think the fact that it's a focus on Iran is also bringing us to the bigger picture, and that is Iranian involvement in the current biggest European war since World War II.
A major complicating factor, of course. Hey, Dr. Yonatan Freeman, thanks for being with us here on this. Appreciate it.